Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. In today's video, I'm just going to show you a series of video clips that I thought was super intriguing. We're going to start with this one from Riz XRP. It says, "Time to transform finance." Hashtag XRP. This is with Brad Garlinghouse. Let's take a listen into this.
One of the challenges of the industry has been to focus on solving real problems for real customers. And Ripple, obviously, from its earliest days, focused on the problem around cross-border payments. That's a point of a lot of friction as measured by speed and cost. And by focusing there, we've been able to have a big impact on that, relatively small piece. But I think over the next years, you're going to see many financial transactions where a middleman sits, a middle transaction, an intermediary. Those will get removed, and we'll use blockchain and other digital asset type technologies to remove that friction. And I think all of society will benefit from improving the efficiency of those systems. I think you'll see that. Certainly you've seen it in securities settlement as an opportunity. The financial transactions around bonds, around derivatives, a lot of these things take a while to settle, and the friction associated actually holds back the industry. Insurance is an industry I think you're going to see touched. Trade finance is an industry that really Ripple, some of our customers have invited us to participate in. And you've seen experimentation around identity in real estate and title management. And these are all examples where I think it's so hard to predict where this will go, in the same way that 25 years ago, when I first got involved in the Internet of Information, I never could have predicted on my smartphone I'd press a button and I'd have a car picking me up minutes later. I think this will permeate lots of different parts of our society.
Shout out to Brad Garlinghouse. I mean, that's a genuine perspective right there. And quite honestly, when it comes to not even just XRP, but just the digital asset space, the cryptocurrency space in general, even all the sectors within the industry, obviously there's a lot of innovation, a lot of growth that's happening, a lot of areas that can help innovate, as he's talking about, and help things run more smoothly, be more efficient, which, they talk about, ESG stuff, environmental things, all these things. All these sectors, creating more jobs, people getting more involved, more literacy, more security, faster, more efficient, lowering costs, lowering energy usage, utilizing, what I call renewable energies, like all these benefits lead us up to the next few decades and so on. We can say hundreds of years if we will. Who knows how long, the digital asset space is going to be relevant. But the whole overwhelming concept is there's so much ahead, and he's talking in terms of transforming the financial system. And obviously we've been talking about the new emerging financial system, and creating the new pipelines, and what's going to be the assets that are moving value at the speed of light, like sending an email in a sense. The overwhelming concept is this space is here to stay. And I'm truly excited personally that I even have the opportunity to be in the position that I am today, and to continue to buy, accumulate, and hodl these strong assets like XRP. Shout out Brad Garlinghouse and Riz XRP for that. Here's another one right here. I thought this was interesting. This is from Bull Diep. It says, according to the reliable source, BitBoy Crypto shared the Ripple turned down the settlement with the SEC in 2021, and that Brad Garlinghouse knew Ripple had the SEC by the balls. SEC is going to lose its power. So there's been a lot of, hate and I guess you could say slander, just negativity, a lot of things that's been thrown at Brian Armstrong from BitBoy Crypto in regards of, his inside sources and reliable sources and all his predictions. Yeah, he throws himself out there, and yeah, he claims all these, he has these sources for all this information, and, he threw out things in regards of like timelines and when the settlement was going to be, and yada, 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 all these different things, right? So seeing him constantly come on here and talk about different things, you kind of come down in the tweet threads and you start seeing people kind of, torching him. But I think it's intriguing just to kind of take everybody's perspective and just kind of formulate my own opinion. And I wanted to play this video. So let's take a listen into this.
So I think we are in the final stages of this. I still think we don't see the end of this thing probably till quarter 2 of next year. It's unfortunate. Wish it would have happened sooner than that. But really, the longer this drags out, the better it's going to be for the price, because we want this to happen after Bitcoin bottoms. Then you might actually get a little more sustained price action. And I will tell you, we were very infamous for saying this thing was going to end in September of last year, and it didn't happen. But I do know someone who swears, and there's someone I know personally, this is not some random person that messaged me, that Brad Garlinghouse told him face to face that they turned down a settlement from the SEC in 2021. Why? Because Brad Garlinghouse knows they have the SEC by the balls. And I believe this is actually the beginning of the end of the SEC and crypto enforcement.
All right. Well, that's great you bring that up, because that's my next point. And that's a strong statement you just made, because Gary Gensler.
I know it's true. I know unequivocally that is true.
About the settlement.
Well, no, that the SEC is going to be losing power over crypto.
Okay.
So I think we are in the finals.
So, hey, what I paid attention the most was like how fast Brian Armstrong was rocking his chair back and forth. And two things, Kay. So, usually when you see that, like, especially like when I'm teaching athletes or sitting down with students, and I'm trying to get to a specific conclusion about something, whether I ask them, like, who did this or who did that, you can kind of quickly tell, like, who's lying based on how uncomfortable they are. But I'm not saying Ben's lying or anything. I just think, there's been so much scrutiny that he's been dealing with. Obviously some might be, rightly so, and, whatever the case is. I really don't have an opinion for it. But, him rocking his seat back and forth, I mean, I'm just wondering if he's like just nervous just to even say these things. And I think he's bold for continuing to, kind of say from, from the information that he receives from his sources, that he still comes out and says these things. But to see him kind of rock back and forth, I'm wondering if he's just uncomfortable, was just like, dang, here I go again. I got to let them know. And I know they're going to, dog me in the chat. So he probably doesn't really care. But I just thought that was interesting. Shout out BitBoy Crypto, Brian Armstrong, for even just, stepping out of, I guess, his comfort zone and kind of continuing to put information out there. Moving on here. This is from Digital Asset Investor. It says, Ripple's General Counsel Stuart Alderati on summary judgment win. Quote, "It's a huge win for the industry. The SEC, I think, will be exposed for, again, not looking to faithfully apply the law, but what they are doing is looking to remake the law." So let's listen into this really quick.
You have recently filed a motion for summary judgment, which means you're trying to get the court to toss the case against you by the SEC. Just based on what you said on its face, the law applies in a certain way. If this is successful, the motion for summary judgment, that's a huge win for the industry because it does give some clarity.
I'm going to repeat what you said. It's a huge win for the industry because it finally gives clarity to the industry about what the limits of the SEC's jurisdiction are. And the SEC, I think, will be exposed for, again, not looking to faithfully apply the law, but what they're doing is looking to remake the law. And I go back to what I said earlier. An agency can't remake the law. Only the legislature can remake the law.
Yes.
So I actually listened to a good amount of this podcast from this Teched Up podcast. And I think Stuart Alderati did a great job of kind of just, laying out all the different, issues that's been going on with, Chairman Gensler and the SEC's involvement in regards of, overregulation by enforcement, and then just like the scrutiny and conflicts of interest and how it's affecting the entire industry, which affects the investors. And he also talked about the genuine side of things, about him being truly grateful for him being in the position that he's in and being part of Ripple and being a part of this new emerging technology of, cryptocurrency and digital assets, because he knows that he sees the writing on the wall. He knows that this space is here to stay and it's truly going to change the course of lives of people across the globe for generations to come, or, for decades. We'll just start with that, for decades to come. And just like him, like, I am truly grateful that I am in the position that I am to be here. And a lot of people talk about, you're not late, you're early. I mean, obviously I've been here since, 2017. So I'm truly grateful to be in the position that I am, because I do see the writing on the wall as well. And getting into these solid digital assets that have real world use case, real utility, solving real world problems is going to be the digital assets that have true staying power. And when it comes to, years to come, decades to come, we're just going to see, who truly saw light at the end of the tunnel. And quite honestly, I really believe that I am on that right side of history when it comes to that, especially when it comes to, XRP and being involved in projects like that actually have true development, true decentralization, true use case and utility, and so on. Moving on here. So this Crypto Lulu, I think that's how you say it, because but Crypto Lulu put up another video, and I thought it was interesting. Obviously, nothing super new, especially if you've been involved with, XRP, Ripple, the community, for years now. I mean, he's kind of putting things together in his own mind and world. And I like how he kind of just lays out things. He's very enthusiastic, does a great job making videos, and it gets to a lot of people. A lot of people can relate and stuff. So I kind of wanted to play this. So I thought it was interesting.
I'm about to say something about XRP that's going to make you absolutely flip. And all it took was a little bit of research and joining some dots together. If you ask most people in the crypto community, what is a stablecoin, they will give you one of two answers. That is either USDT or USDC. And I'm here to say, ooh boy, you have no idea what the World Bank and the World Economic Forum define as a stablecoin. There are two tokens that they believe are stablecoins, and those are XRP and XLM. And that's not all. Acknowledging that they classify XRP and XLM as stablecoins, I mean, it's written in their documentation, the regulation that Biden is pushing for in a potential executive order is for freaking stable coins. Stable coins, guys. The executive order is for regulation on stable coins. If I ask the average Joe in crypto, what does a stable coin mean? He's going to say USDT or USDC, not even realizing that XRP and XLM are the stable coins in question. We have to look at the business side of things for Ripple. Ripple is working with large institutions and governmental agencies from around the world, representing countries. Do you think these large entities are going to be involved with XRP without knowing the fees they're going to pay? Do you think they're going to leave it up to chance, leave it up to the price chart? Absolutely not. These companies and countries need to know exactly how much it's going to cost to transfer X amount of money across the world. That means the XRP price has to be set. It doesn't get discovered. There's no price discovery for XRP. The price gets set because those are the pre-agreed rates made by Ripple and their partners. So acknowledging that the XRP price needs to be set, and we know from David Schwartz, it needs to be high enough to handle all of those transactions. This thing is not going to be left up to chance, left up to price discovery. They know the price that XRP needs to be at to handle all of the transactions on the XRP ledger when this thing goes boom. The price is predetermined, and when the time comes, all they do is enter those digits in. All of a sudden, XRP is that price. Their partners who have those pre-agreed terms are getting delivered those terms. They know exactly how much it costs to send their money. When all these dots connected, my mind was absolutely blown. Guys.
Oh, let me finish this actually.
Freaking pack your bags.
Yeah, I've been telling my homies that for some time. I try not to, I'm not obviously trying to force anybody. It's never financial advice, but like when I talk to my friends, I'm like, hey, like here's what I'm doing. I'm just saying, here's what I'm doing. Here's kind of what I'm hodling. Here's one of my biggest ones, and I try to let them know like I got high conviction on this one based on the information that I have. So what do you think? And some kind of jumped in, and some are still kind of like iffy about it, but I guess we'll see. As time goes on, we'll see if we in the XRP community were right. It's just to see the content that's been out there, the documentations, the partnerships, a Brad Garlinghouse meeting with high-powered individuals within the world. I don't know, like how can you really deny it? Especially when you see the whole ETHgate scandal, the suppression tactics, the propaganda that's been placed against Ripple and XRP to suppress the price and all these different things. It makes you go, dang, man. You talk about a diamond in the rough, like what's really happening here? So I'm just super excited. Just like this gentleman here, I'm super excited about what lies ahead. Moving on here, this from WheezyX. I thought this was interesting. He says, videos that are still missing, still being searched for. One, him in 2018 Tech GC. And he puts up some images here. Two, William Hammond and Aaron Wright, 2019 at Cordozo. Jay Clayton and Kristen Johnson at the CFTC 2022. 4, Jay Clayton and Joe Grungfest 2022 at Goldman Sachs. And then the Valerie Sapenic Senate 2018. So you already know the community is still on the hunt for these things. It's just a matter of when these things pop up, not if. Shout out WheezyX. And I thought this was interesting. This is from JV. Will the Lightning Network get adopted before the XRPL? So I really thought about this and I was like, you hear about these Bitcoin being made legal tender in different locations, different countries. And you talk about when we hear adoption and all these different things, Bitcoin is what majority of the time is within headlines. So my thing is there's a lot of videos out there, a lot of information out there in regards of, the Lightning Network and, how efficient it is, how long does it take versus like utilizing, XRP, XRPL and what it can do, what it can offer in regards of innovation, the use of energy and so on, right? Transaction speeds. Quite honestly, it seems as if, I think personally from what I see, I definitely see Bitcoin still being, one of the four, I guess you could say the leaders in a sense in regards of awareness, adoption, obviously being, I call it the mothership of the crypto industry. But when it comes to long-term, true utility and usage, I definitely see the XRPL. And quite honestly, that is not me being biased. I hodl, Bitcoin. I value Bitcoin. But utilizing XRPL and seeing what lies ahead for it, I'm just super excited about it. And I just can't see why, these companies and agencies and institutions can't get behind that. It all starts with, regulatory clarity. What are the regulations that are going to come out and how is it going to affect the space? So let's start with that. But that just kind of what my thought process was happening when I saw JV's post. And JV does a great job of putting up, great posts or great tweet threads and great information that kind of gets me thinking. Shout out JV. But that's what I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. I really appreciate you guys' support. I truly do. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.